Thanks very much. I mean, maybe just some initial points. A point I made earlier in an earlier session. The one difference between South Africa and I think most, if not all, of the countries here represented here is that because we have in our equality clause, in our Bill of Rights, in our Constitution, a provision that nobody should be discriminated against on the basis of their sexual orientation. The result of that is, from a legal perspective, any law or any action that discriminates against LGBTI people is something that would be struck down by the Constitutional Court. So that's made the process of legal reform, I think, a lot easier. The gap in our law that still stands is on the issue of hate crimes, which is more complicated, not because of LGBTI rights, but because of the whole question of hate speech and its impact on the right of freedom of expression, and particularly with issues of racism and our history, whether we can have a definition of hate speech that still allows people to say what they want to say. Issues of whether, the impact of European colonization of South Africa, whether making comments about that is seen by people who supported the apartheid regime as being hate speech or not is something that I mean, that's an issue that some of them raise. So that's the problem with the whole issue of hate crimes. It may be that we decide to proceed with hate crimes and exclude hate speech from that, because the hate speech aspect is too complicated. We have initiated by my department, the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, a national task team on LGBTI rights, which largely came about because of crimes against LGBTI people, particularly problems that lesbians were facing. As far as corrective rapes, or so-called corrective rapes, where we're quite a violent society, South Africa. There's quite a high level of sexual crimes, and one component of that is, and it's not that many per year, but where lesbian women were being raped by homophobic men who were trying to show them that they shouldn't be lesbian. So because of that, the then minister a few years ago set up a national task team to look at the whole issue of crimes against LGBTI people. It's not really at a ministerial level, it's at an interdepartmental level. And the idea was to bring together different players from different government departments. We have a Department of Women, we have a Department of Social Development, which deals more with children. We have the police and bodies like that, to bring them all together to look at developing a policy and a strategy on LGBTI people and how to enhance the rights of LGBTI people. One of the components of that is a rapid response team which deals specifically with those crimes. So because of a problem with the criminal justice system, where you could have a homophobic police person who has a crime reported to them and doesn't want to take it seriously because they're homophobic. So the idea of the rapid response team is and crimes get reported at the local police station where they happen. So it's quite difficult from a national level to detect what is happening. So Part of the whole issue as well was the involvement of civil society organizations in the National Task Team and in the Rapid Response Team. And with the Rapid Response Team, particularly ensuring that or relying on non-government organizations in particular to report crimes that were not being investigated properly. So that's been the approach, and again, I think to emphasize the involvement of civil society organizations has been very important, bringing them on board, ensuring that they feel that they have a role to play, that they are being listened to, and listening to their suggestions and trying to see what we can do to address what they are raising or to respond to the suggestions that they are making. So that's roughly the structure within South Africa. I think let me leave it like that for now. I don't know if that adequately responds to the question that you raised.